Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I've got another 3 really simple slow cooker recipes for you. We've got one with chicken, one with sausage and also a vegetarian option. They're all really easy to put together, super simple to make, and they are perfect for this time of year. So let's go and have a look. So for this recipe I'm going to be making a sausage and stuffing creamy casserole. So I'm going to put together some of these festive sausages. I've picked these ones because they were on offer in Tesco and I thought they were nice for the time of year. They're festive bangers, but you could use the cheapest sausages for this because the flavour is going to come from your sage and onion stuffing mainly. And then we're going to add onion granules, some basil, some garlic, some salt and pepper. It's going to be really good. So I've got around 7 smallish potatoes. I'm going to use 12 sausages because hopefully this will do all 5 of us. I'm going to pop in a whole packet of the stuffing mix, a couple of onions, and then I've got 2 tins of chicken soup. This is just a really basic one. I think it's like 67p a tin, and even though it doesn't say cream of chicken soup, this one is. I'm going to add some basil, some onion granules, salt and black pepper, and also a garlic cube, and then 2 onions. My biggest tip for slow cookers is double up on any seasonings you think you're going to need and probably halve the amount of liquid you think you're going to need. So you could throw all this straight in the slow cooker as it is. I am going to brown my sausages just because for me personally, sausages that have been slow cooked and boiled tend to look not very appetizing and they come out looking just as raw as when they went in. If that doesn't bother you, pop them straight in, but for me I like the caramelized sort of stickiness that you get when you crisp them up in a pan. That's the only thing I'm going to be doing first. The rest of it we're just going to tip it in. I'm not even going to peel my potatoes, I'm just going to wash them thoroughly and cube them up. First things first, I'm going to get my pan nice and hot. I'm not going to add any oil. I've got non-stick pans and there will be fat in these sausages. I'm just going to pop them in. I'm just going to leave those on a high heat. I'm not aiming to cook them all the way through. I just want the outsides to brown and give us that lovely crispy flavour. So I've chopped my onion and my potatoes. I'm just going to pop those straight in the slow cooker. The potatoes I've kind of diced reasonably small. They're not massive pieces. So I'm also going to add a tablespoon of onion granules because this will just really complement the sage and onion stuffing. And a tablespoon of basil, just because I like basil. And that's what I want in there. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of salt. Probably half a teaspoon of a black pepper. I'm also going to add in 2 cubes of frozen garlic. On top of that I'm going to add my sausages. As you can see they've just got some colour on them. I haven't cooked them thoroughly. I'm going to use scissors and I'm going to chop mine up. You could put them in whole, completely up to you. But I just feel like they're dispersed more evenly that way. You can see the big chunks of like apple in them. Kitchen scissors are like my go-to tool for everything. I have actually got a proper pair of like meat scissors, but good old kitchen scissors, probably from the pound shop or somewhere. Now we're going to add in our 2 tins of cream of chicken soup. Can I ask a favour please? Someone in the UK, please recommend me a decent tin opener in the comments. I've had to kind of half muller my can with a knife because I just can't do it. I have had it a long time, it's just a standard like, I don't know, it's absolutely rubbish and it took me about half an hour to get the tin open enough and obviously I can't even scrape it out because I can't get the lid off anymore. So if anyone's got an Amazon link or somewhere, one that they could recommend, I would be eternally grateful. Because that was just stress. So I'm going to give this a stir. So I'm going to add in my stuffing mix. And I'm going to use the whole pack. And I'm going to give that a good stir. Obviously water will come out of the vegetables like the potatoes, the onions, the sausages will probably still have some juices. So although in my head I'm thinking this definitely needs more water, you just don't want to make that mistake with a slow cooker. If this comes out like I think it's going to be amazing. This could be the perfect Christmas side. like Boxing Day alternative to use up. You could even put turkey in it. So I'm now going to pop my lid on. I'm going to leave it 6 hours on low, then I'll check it. Really looking forward to tasting this one. So it's actually been just over 5 hours now and my casserole is pretty much done. Not the most appetizing looking, but it tastes amazing. Sometimes things in the slow cooker don't come out looking brilliant. I haven't added any extra water whatsoever and the potatoes have gone really soft. You can see it's actually quite liquidy. You could either serve this with like vegetables, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, like carrots or some green beans. It smells really Christmassy, or you could have it in a nice big bowl with a really warm part baked baguette or some crusty sourdough or something. So I will serve it up so it looks a little bit more appetizing than it does now. I wish you had smell-o-vision. It just smells like Christmas Eve, which is when we usually cook our stuffing. And yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a new favourite. So here we are served up. I've decided to go with warm crusty rolls. Just pop these in the air fryer for like 6 minutes on 180. They've come out perfectly and I've popped some butter in there. And then we've got our sausage casserole slash stew. I don't know what you want to call it apart from delicious. If you like sausage casseroles but you want a little bit of a different take rather than like sweet gravy kind of ones that sometimes I find can be a little bit too on the sweet side with the carrots and things, definitely try this. This is going to be a hit at Christmas with any leftover sausage meat stuffing, or add some turkey in there, maybe a couple of tablespoons of cranberry sauce. Yeah. Really, really good. And like I said, you could easily use cheap sausages. They look so much better when they're browned though, you can just see there. So yeah, this is my slow cooker sausage and stuffing casserole. So this next recipe is for a chicken and chorizo smoky pasta. Really simple and not many ingredients. I have doubled up on a lot of my ingredients because we are a family of 5, 3 adults, 2 teenage boys. So if there are less of you, feel free to halve this, or if you want to freeze the leftovers, then use what I'm using. So I've got a kilo of chicken thighs. I'm actually going to use about 800 grams. I've got 200 grams of Spanish chorizo. But I've got a little bit of tomato puree. I could possibly do with a little bit more than what's in there, but only by about a tablespoon, so it'll be fine. I've got 2 stock cubes and 2 cubes of frozen garlic. That's probably the equivalent to about 4 cloves. I'm going to add in some smoked paprika, 2 peppers, 2 onions and 2 tins of plum tomatoes. And then after this is all cooked together nicely, I'm going to add in my pasta. So this is literally a case of chop it up, pop it in and turn it on. No pre-frying or anything. I'm not even going to cut the chicken up, I'm just going to put it in as it is because it will break apart as it cooks. So I'll chop my veg and then we'll assemble it in the slow cooker. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to pop in my chopped up onions and peppers. We've got our chorizo ring. I've just sliced mine like that because I thought it looked better. And then you get nice big pieces. I've got my 2 cubes of frozen garlic. I swear by this. So easy, no chopping, no peeling, it's just there. I'm just going to pop my 2 stock cubes straight in. Obviously you can dissolve them in the water, mix them up if you want, but I don't find any need. So they're just going to go in as they are. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this than I would normally because we're going to cook pasta in it at the end, so we're going to need the liquid. So I've got 2 tins of peeled plum tomatoes. I like to buy the Italian ones that are in tomato juice. They are probably 10 to 15p more than the cheapest tomatoes, but as you can see, like this sauce that they're in, or the juice, is so thick, like if you tip it upside down it doesn't even come out, whereas if you buy the cheaper ones it is all liquid. And the fact that I haven't got quite enough tomato puree for this recipe, this is perfect. So much higher quality. My other tin, and then with my boiling water I'm going to add about a litre, but I'm just going to use some of it to rinse around, make sure I get all that tomatoey flavour. Again, if you're making this for less people, you only want to add about 500ml. Just wash those cans out, and the rest of my water. I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. Sorry, the dishwasher has decided to do its dishwashering. I'm going to go in with whatever tomato puree I've got, ideally 2 to 3 tablespoons. I think I'll probably squeeze about 1.5 out of this. I thought I had another one, I didn't, but it doesn't matter. And last but not least, Oh my goodness. I nearly dropped this whole thing. The bottom buckled and I nearly dropped the whole thing literally in front of the dog. That would have been an interesting fight. Yeah, I'm going to put my chicken thighs in. I'm not going to chop them up. Like I said, they will fall apart. And all we're going to do is give this a stir. And then I'm going to pop this on low for about 6 hours. And then we're going to check it and we'll add in our uncooked pasta. And then it will take probably another 30 minutes from there. That is literally it. We're just going to pop the lid on and that's going to make the house smell smoky and amazing. And I'll be back in about 6 hours. So here we are about 5 hours later and the house smells all smoky and I'm trying not to get the shadow, I apologise. The chicken is literally just fall apart. Like you can just cut it with a plastic like utensil. It just falls to pieces. I'm not even going to take it out and shred it because when I serve it, we can just break it up with a spoon. The chorizo's cooked through nicely as well, and all that smoky flavour and all the oils and things have gone into the casserole. So what I'm going to do now is add in my pasta. I think I'm going to add probably around 500 grams of pasta, so a whole pack. I'm going to leave it for another 30 minutes. So I'm just going to stir that through, pop the lid on. 30 minutes should be plenty, but obviously just make sure your pasta's cooked. Don't leave it too long, otherwise it'll go mushy. And I'll be back in half an hour to show you the next bit. So our pasta is all cooked and it looks really, really good. The sauce has all been absorbed into the pasta. And I'm just about to dish it up. So here we are served up. So I decided not to add the creme fraiche to the whole slow cooker because it tastes creamy enough as it is and I didn't want to stir the pasta too much and have it all like fall apart. So I've just added a little teaspoon on the top and some fresh coriander as well, and you can always add grated cheese if you wanted to, and you can obviously season it with some salt and pepper if needed, add some chili flakes. But this is such a good recipe. We've got a massive slow cooker full and I am looking forward to tucking in. So this recipe is one for any vegetarians out there, and it is my butternut squash and spinach lasagna. It's a little bit of a different take on it. Firstly, because I'm doing it in the slow cooker, and secondly because I'm using soft cheese instead of cottage cheese, because cottage cheese just does not work in a slow cooker. So I'm doubling up this recipe as usual. You could halve the amount of ingredients if you wanted to make a much smaller portion, or if you have a smaller slow cooker, but I do like to go big because leftovers are always welcome. So I've got 2 butternut squash, 2 cartons of passata. I've got 2 tubs of soft cheese. This is just the cheap one from Tesco. We're going to use some mature cheddar because you can't have lasagna without cheddar. I've got Italian herbs and garlic granules and also some baby spinach. You're also going to need some lasagna sheets and some salt and pepper. So the first thing I'm going to do is prick my butternut squash with a knife and pop them in the microwave for between 5 to 10 minutes. That makes the skin go nice and soft, and it means that you don't cut your fingers to pieces when trying to chop them. It's just so much easier to get the skins off, and then we'll go from there. So you're literally just going to want to take a sharp knife and prick them all over. That will just let some of the liquid escape. You can see already it coming out of this one. It's really sweet and sticky. But yeah, this definitely helps to soften the skins. So you can see that the skin comes right off the butternut once it's been in the microwave. It's much easier to slice through. Just softens it up really nicely. So I'm going to get on with getting most of the skin off of this. And then we're going to de-seed it and chop it into cubes. So my idea with this recipe is to make it as simple as possible, because we could have like pre-roasted things, we could have made up sauces and cooked them on the hob and then poured them in, but I want it to be simple. So I'm going to start off with a layer of butternut squash chunks. You can buy frozen butternut, I don't know if that would work in this or not, but so I'm just going to put a layer of that. I've lost one around the back, haven't I? There we go. So we're going to put a layer of that, and then I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. Then on top of that, I'm going to add some passata, just a layer, some Italian herbs, just a little covering, and some garlic granules. And on top of that, this is pre-washed spinach, by the way. I'm going to put a handful or two of spinach. This will wilt down to practically nothing, but it's so full of goodness. So on top of the spinach, I'm just going to break up a few lasagna sheets. So I'm going to put a few in as they are. I'm going to kind of make a bit of a layer. And then on top of that, I'm just going to get a spoon and my cream cheese. And I'm just going to kind of put little blocks. And this is why I've got 2 spoons. I'm going to try and spread it a little bit. It doesn't have to be all the way over because as it cooks, it's all going to move around anyway. And I'm going to add a few more Italian herbs, a few more garlic granules, or you could just buy the garlic and herb cream cheese, would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? And then I'm going to go in with a handful of grated cheddar cheese. I'm making such a mess today. And then basically we're just going to repeat the process. So a bit more butternut. And then on top of that, I'm just going to add my last layer of cheddar. And the dog is hoovering up the grated cheddar. And then we are just going to pop our lid on. I'm going to give it 6 hours on low and we'll see how it goes. There we are, ready to start cooking. And I'll be back in about 6 hours time. My lasagna is finished. It's actually still steaming, although I have let it sit for about half an hour. It looks and smells amazing. It looks better in person than it does here. But what I'm going to do is try and take a slice out of it. It's set really nicely too. So yeah, I'm going to try and get a slice out of it and I'll show you what it looks like. So here we are, out of the slow cooker. It was actually really easy to get out. If you do make this, I highly recommend you leave it to cool. I've probably switched it off about half an hour ago but kept the lid on. But you can see it's still steaming, but it has solidified more than when it was absolutely boiling. So yeah, it looks amazing and I have had a little taste. It's really, really good. So yeah, this was so easy to do. There was no like pre-prepping or anything. Well, you saw what I did. And yeah, this is going to freeze really well and make really nice leftovers as well. And sorry about the shouting. Anyone else got teenage boys that play PlayStations in their room and all you can hear is really strange noises coming out of them? That's what that is. So yeah, here's my butternut squash and spinach lasagna.
Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too.